A shadow is formed when an object comes between rays of light and a surface. Like these shadows here, a shadow can be any shape or size. The children are using puppets to create shadows on the board. They notice that the shadows created by their puppets can change size.
Why is the flower so big?
How are we meant to make it smaller?
I don't know.
Why don't we try swapping around and see what happens?
Okay. It's gone smaller.
And now the butterflies became bigger.
The shadows change size, even though the puppet stays the same. To find out why this happens, we need to plan an investigation. We know that the rays of light from the torch reflect on the board, and that placing the puppet between the rays of light and the board creates a shadow. What we want to discover is how the shadow changes size. To make this investigation fair, we will only change one variable: the distance between the puppet and the light source. So, we are going to measure the size of the shadow when the puppet is 40 centimetres, 70 centimetres, 100 centimetres and 130 centimetres away from the light source. What do you predict makes the shadow change size?
I predict that the bigger the torch, the bigger the shadow will be.
I predict that the closer to the torch you are, the bigger the shadow.
I predict that the bigger the puppet, the bigger the shadow. So, for this investigation, we need to think of our equipment.
I think we should use the big torch.
Yeah, let's use that one.
Okay.
So we've got this one.
Now we can choose what puppet we're going to use.
What are we going to do with these two measuring sticks?
Well, one of them we need to use to measure the size of the shadow.
And then the next we need to use to measure the length between the torch and the puppet.
Let's watch the investigation to see whose prediction was right.
About here.
First, we measure the distance from the light source.
Let's start 40 centimetres away from the light source.
Then, we place the puppet into position. Finally, we record the size of the shadow.
And this time 70 centimetres. This time 130 centimetres.
Now, we need to record the results.
Let's start with measuring shadow 1.
Shadow 1 is 80 centimetres.
Okay.
Shadow 2 is 63 centimetres. Shadow 3 is 40 centimetres. Now shadow 4 is 30 centimetres. Let's look at our results.
Look, there's a pattern. Shadow 1's the biggest.
So that means every time we get further away from the light source, the shadow gets smaller.
The children measured the size of the shadow at 40 centimetres, 70 centimetres, 100 centimetres and 130 centimetres. Their results show that as the puppet moves further away from the light source, the shadow it creates gets smaller. So, the closer to the light source, the bigger the shadow.
My prediction was correct.
Was your prediction right?